English lesson works out. I decided that since it was a nice day here in Canada, and because we didn't have a lesson last night, that I would do one today, and that I would do it outside. It is actually above zero here in Canada, which is rare for this time of year. Normally, this time of year, it is quite snowy. But I felt like since, let me just check how things are going. I decided that looks like things are working well. I decided that since last night I was busy and I wasn't able to do a little lesson for you guys, that I would do one today. It's just after lunch on a Sunday here. We are home, and I thought before I head out later today to do a little bit of Christmas shopping or other activities, that I would do a live lesson. So welcome to all of you that could join me today. I hope that being outside isn't too loud. There's a few things moving around me because of the wind, and I hope that you are able to understand me. This will work the same as the regular Saturday night lessons. I'm not sure how long I will go, but I first of all want to just say hello to everybody in the chat. I see a lot of people saying hello in the chat. Welcome to the 200 people that are already watching. That is so awesome. I hope that doing a live lesson at this time of day is better for some of you. Excuse me. I know that for some of you in different parts of the world, my normal live lessons are a little bit late or way too early in the morning. So we'll do this one right now. And if you have questions, there is a link in the description to the form that you can use, as well as Todd will be posting a link in the chat that you can use to ask questions. If you're worried that I might get cold out here, don't worry. I have my winter boots on and I'm wearing a lot of layers. Okay, so I will be fine. And I have a nice warm cushion to sit on. So we'll do this live lesson outside. Let me check for the first question. First question is, let me get this posted into the chat. Valerie from Ukraine says, hello Bob, hello Valerie. Can you record another lesson to explain what the difference between verbs with a prepositional adverb is and phrasal verbs? I will do that for sure. That sounds like a good plan. I will in the future do that. As you know, there are phrasal verbs in English. And Jen, is it really hot? Did you put, okay, so it's, okay. Jen just brought me some tea, so. She says it's hot, so I should take the lid off. Maybe you guys can see the steam coming out of it if I put it up there. I don't want to fog up my camera. Yes, I will for sure do that in the future. That is a great suggestion. I do want to give a shout out to Nikolai Stoichev, who has given me a super chat. Thank you so much, Nikolai. Nicole, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Nikolai Stoichev. Thank you very much for the super chat. I do appreciate that. I'm going to check to make sure. Yes, my audio is working well. Anyways, let's move on to the next question. I will for sure make, let's see here. This is from Haydar. People love to ask how to connect with me directly. Haydar says, hi Bob, hi Sir Bob, handsome Bob, thank you. I just look the way I look. Cool Bob. How can I meet with you? If I write you on Instagram, that's what we would say, Haydar, can you talk with me? My Instagram is this. Unfortunately, there are simply too many people who send me messages every day. I'm not trying to be a mean person, but I literally don't have time to respond to the number of messages I get every day. I try really hard to answer YouTube comments, but I even then don't have enough time to answer them all. I try really hard to respond, but on Instagram, I don't respond. I get hundreds of messages a day and I really don't have time. I do work full time and I do YouTube and I have a whole bunch of kids. I have 5 kids. So I apologize to some of you who have reached out. When you reach out in English, it means to try to connect with someone. I apologize to you for not responding, but it simply takes a lot of time. I do try and respond sometimes when people leave comments on Facebook. And I do try to respond when people leave comments on YouTube, but there's so many of you, it becomes very difficult. So I apologize for that, but hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. Ying has the next question. Ying says, how can I improve my speaking accuracy? The best way to improve your speaking is to do a lot of speaking. I know that sounds simple, but it is very true. The more English you speak, the more you use the words, even if you're just speaking out loud to yourself, the better you will get at English fluency when you are speaking English. You need to do it a lot, and it needs to become a regular routine for you, okay? I see a few people asking questions in the chat. Make sure you are using the link that Todd gives. That is where I collect the questions, and that's how I answer the questions. So please check there. Next question is from Mahdi. Mahdi Al-Shamari says, hi, Bob the Canadian. Hello, Mahdi. I'm glad to be watching your live stream. That's my best time for watching you in this moment. I'm studying English. So the time of day I know is probably a lot better for most of you if I do one at around lunchtime or around 12 o'clock on any given day. So I'm glad that you can watch this live stream. That is awesome for you. Renata has the next question. Renata says, what does flabbergasted mean? So flabbergasted would be when something happens and you don't quite believe it. When something happens and you're kind of experiencing a whole bunch of emotions at once. For instance, if I was on the highway and someone was driving and they cut me off, I could be flabbergasted at the fact that they did that. I think it's an interesting word because we don't use it a lot more in English. I'm just looking up the exact. So the news left someone greatly astonished. That would be the explanation that I get when I look that word up online. So it's a state of surprise. You know, you're like, whoa. That's my expressive face. That's how I would look. Whoa, if I was flabbergasted. Great question, Renata. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Let's see. This is a tough one, Chen. I'm going to paste it in, but it's a pretty long question. Chen No says, time no see does I didn't kiss you because I like you mean I didn't kiss you because I like you and don't want to kiss you to annoy you, or I kissed you doesn't mean I like you, thanks. I'm not exactly sure. Let me back up to the first sentence. I didn't kiss you because I like you. Maybe someone has given you a kiss on the cheek as a greeting. And it's possible that they didn't give you a kiss on the cheek because they are romantically interested in you. That's tricky one. Hey, so I think we have a lot of new people in the chat who maybe aren't aware of how this works. Todd will post a link in the chat that you can use to ask questions in that come into a central location for me. So please don't ask your questions directly in the chat. Instead, use the link that Todd is giving you. Here's our next one from Masood. Hi, Bob. What's the difference between to with two O's and very? They are the same thing. So it was too hot outside. It was, they're not exactly the same thing. If I say it was very hot outside, then it means it was quite warm. If I say it was too hot outside, it means it was way warmer than I wanted it to be. So if this was a warm day, and if I said it was very hot, that would be here. And if I said it was too hot, that would be up there. So slightly different degree of explanation. Let's see here. Let's see. There are still a lot of questions in the chat. Please use the form. It makes it a lot easier. Tiago says, there's any difference between answer and respond. So I will give you a couple example sentences. Right now, I am going to answer your questions Right now, I am going to respond to your questions. In those situations, they mean exactly the same thing. Next one from Renata. Renata says, could you pronounce unscathed, please? Unscathed. No one goes through life unscathed. Unfortunately, sorry, my example sentence is not that good. That's a great example sentence, by the way. So it's unscathed, a tricky word for English learners because it has a TH in it. Did I do that right? It has the th sound. So th. You have to have your tongue between your teeth. So unscathed, unscathed. Hard even for a native English speaker to say. Usually when we're speaking quickly, we pronounce that a little quickly, like unscathed. You can hear it just a little bit softer there. Jacob Herda, hello from the Czech Republic. Hello, Jacob. First of all, I wish you a merry and peaceful Christmas. Thank you. I wish the same to you. And my question is, what is your favorite fairy tale? I'm not sure what my favorite fairy tale is, although I do like Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood is not too bad when it comes to fairy tales. But I also like Chicken Little. That's a good one as well. You should look those up. Chicken Little keeps telling people the sky is falling. Let's see here. Sean Wang from China. Let me take a sip of tea here, folks. I'll let you enjoy the view behind me while I have a sip of tea. Sean Wang says, I'm an English teacher from China. Hi, Sean. Hope you are doing well. Would you please give me some suggestions on how to give students a good English class? So, excuse me, if you teach every day, here's what I suggest. On Monday, focus on reading. On Tuesday, focus on writing. On Wednesday, focus on listening. On Thursday, focus on speaking. And on Friday, do something fun. That would be a great structure for an English class if you see students every day. Let me get the next one here. So Kane wants to know, what is your favorite onomatopoeia? I'm typing it in right now because I have to look this up. I do know what it means, but it is a word that sounds a lot like the sound that you actually hear. So when you fry something, it sizzles. So sizzle sounds like the sound you get from the frying pan. That's the one I would probably go with, sizzle. Let's see here. Daniel, I'm trying to go as fast as possible. There are a lot of questions. This is super fun, but I'm going to pause for a minute. If you are new here, don't forget to click that red subscribe button. I do English lessons 3 times per week. Tuesdays, there's a new video. Friday, there is a live lesson. And usually Saturday and today, Sunday, there is another live question and answer session. So please do subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you haven't done that yet. Let's see here. Back up to Daniel's question. Hey, Bob, how are you? I'm good, Daniel. Why do we say happy birthday, happy new year, but at Christmas we say Merry? What does Merry mean? So Merry just means the same thing. It means I hope you're having a happy Christmas. And by the way, in parts of the world, they do say happy Christmas. In Canada and in the United States, we say happy birthday, happy new year, and usually we say Merry Christmas. So I just want to say hi to all the people in the chat. Yes, this is live. I see someone saying, wow, this is live. And people are saying hi to me. It is so cool that you are here. Thank you very much. I do see a lot of questions in the chat. A little difficult for me to always answer questions because they go by so quickly. But yes, we are experiencing a beautiful day here in Canada. It's really nice behind me right now. You can see I'm outside. I have a winter coat on, but no winter hat or gloves. I do have a little bit of hot tea to keep me warm if I need it, but it is just a beautiful day here in Ontario, Canada. Let's continue with the lesson though. Let's check the next question. The next question is, John Bread says, how do people use the word caper nowadays? Well, first of all, they don't use the word caper very much anymore. A caper is like a crime in a movie from a long time ago. I just want to stop and thank Lolly Lolly for the super chat. Thank you very much, Lolly Lolly. I will put that in my my Christmas stocking. Merry Christmas to you and your family, says Lolly Lolly. Thank you, Lolly, for being a great student. Lolly has been to almost every one of my live streams, and she is quite supportive of a lot of the YouTube English teachers. So we love you, Lolly. Thank you very, very much. So again, the word caper, not used too much anymore. So I'm getting a lot of questions. It's going to take me a little while to get through these. I will do my best. Please be patient if I don't get to your question quickly. Let's see here. Srinath says, how can we from intermediate level advance to, or get to the advanced level? Could you please help? So the number one way to get from intermediate to advanced is to hire an English person to teach you. It's expensive. It's probably the time when you're learning English where you do have to spend money. There is a link below in the description to a website called Preply. I know not all of you have money to do this, but probably the best way to get from intermediate to advanced is to hire someone, especially for your speaking and conversation skills. You can do a lot by reading books and watching YouTube videos, but at a certain point, you do need to hire somebody. So hopefully you have the money to do that. Fabricio, sorry, sometimes I laugh at the questions before. Fabricio says, why are you so handsome? Well, I think probably because I just got lucky in life. First of all, I do not believe I am handsome. I just look the way I look. You do need to. I'm just checking the audio. Let me clean up my questions here, people. I've answered 19. That's a pretty good pace considering, let me see how far into this we are. Can't quite see. Next question is from Kostya, a question about Canada. Let's see here. Kostya says, hi, Bob, what kinds of public transport do you have in Canada? We have all the kinds of public transport. We have bus or buses. We have the metro or the subway. Here we call it the GO train. Sorry, subway's a little different, but we have the train, which we call the GO train in Ontario, which goes to Toronto. We have the subway in Toronto. They have streetcars in Toronto, and of course we have buses, which I think I already said buses, right? So we have many forms of public transit. The only thing we don't have is we do not have a high-speed train. We do not have a train de grande vitesse. We don't have a high-speed train, which I wish we did because it's such a big country. Marcia says, hi, Bob. Only to say that you are a very good teacher and I'm learning a lot before going to my first study abroad. Well, thank you for the compliment. Thank you. Merry Christmas and a wonderful 2020 for your family. Thank you very, very much. Let's see here. Justin Bieber is in the chat again. Hi, Justin. I'm not sure why Justin's learning English. He's from Canada. Did you know that? Next question is from William. He says, could you tell us the difference between color and collar related to the pronunciation? So a dog wears a collar. Okay, so Oscar is not here right now, our dog, but he has a collar, and this color is blue. Okay, so this color is blue. My dog wears a collar. Thank you for the question. I love pronunciation questions. Alex says, are you going to make live videos at different times, or is it a unique case? Today is a unique case. I decided to do a live lesson today because I was home. It was a nice day outside. Last night I was out and about doing things. So this is not a regular thing. So let's go on to the next question. Next question is from Louis Awad. Says, thank you, Bob. You're welcome. I'm watching from Palestine. Very cool. What is the difference between stingy and miserly? We have to actually change that, okay? So it's stingy or miserly. They mean the same thing. It means someone who does not like to spend their money, okay? So if you are stingy or miserly, you do not like to spend money. Again, people, I'm sorry that I have so many questions. Please be patient as I work through them. Nora Al Brahim says, how can I use had in a sentence? Well, we say things like this, you know. So a long time ago, before he had his operation, he was much healthier. So I know that sounds weird, but you know, last year before he had his operation, he was a much healthier person. We could say last year before he had his operation, but sometimes we just want to make English hard for no reason. So I apologize for English being weird. It is just a weird language sometimes, and we say strange things. Next question from Lolly Lolly. Hi, Bob the Canadian. Is there a difference between struggle to do and strive to do? So there's a little error in there. It's struggle to do. So I strive to do my best job when I do a live lesson. That means that I work hard to do the best job I can. If I was to say I struggle to do it, it means I'm having problems doing it. It means that it's hard for me to do it. So strive is like a decision to do something well. And when you struggle, you're having problems doing something well. So they are different in meaning, Lolly. I did mention earlier, you will hear cats meowing out here. There are several of them, and they're wondering what I'm doing, the cats. So they're meowing a little bit. Christina says, hi, Teacher Bob. Could you explain the difference between this was amazing, that was amazing, and it was amazing? So if I was at a concert, when the concert ended, I could say, this was amazing. So what I'm saying is this concert was amazing. I could also say that was amazing and in the same situation. And I could say, wow, it was amazing. So you could say all of them the same. Sorry, I'm smiling and laughing because the cat over there, you probably can't hear him as well as I can, but the cat is really meowing. The cats did get their food today already, so it's not like we are being mean to our cats. Fabiano Diaz says, what does it mean when you say I'm flattered? So a while ago, someone said I was handsome. Because I sometimes am a humble person, not always, I would say, oh, I'm flattered. It basically means you're thanking someone for the compliment, but maybe you don't quite believe it. So a lot of times if you say to someone, oh, you're so beautiful, they might say, oh, I'm flattered. Or you did a great job on that speech. They might say, oh, I'm flattered. So when you receive a compliment, you sometimes are flattered. Dimitro, I'm laughing because this is good. He says, I was flabbergasted to see the notification, so I did not prepare my question. So Dimitro from Ukraine is often in my Saturday evening live lesson. So he's kind of saying he was flabbergasted. He was astonished when he saw the notification that I was going to do a live lesson today. Renata, quick question here. Is flabbergasted the same as overwhelmed? They're slightly different. When you're overwhelmed, you're usually having more of an emotional experience where you might break down and cry a little bit when you're overwhelmed. So slightly different emotional responses. Fulia says here, is it possible to speak like a native eventually, even when you are not? I think it is. I think if you are an older person, if you're over the age of 20 and you learn a new language, you will always have a little bit of an accent. But I think that eventually you can speak as quickly and as clearly as a native, and maybe just with a slight accent. Let me clean up my questions here for a second. This is from Adriana. Hope I don't lose my voice sitting out here. Adriano Amaral says, I have a question. Reading is really important to expand vocabulary, but I feel bored when I'm reading. Do you have any advice to help with that? Congratulations from Brazil, Sao Paulo. So, no, if you are bored when you are reading, maybe you are bored because the kind of book you are reading is boring for you. I would recommend, if you like sports, try to find a book about an athlete. If you like, space, read books about science fiction. If you don't like reading books, read the news. And I often recommend that people read Wikipedia, switch Wikipedia into English. There's actually a version of Wikipedia called Simple Wikipedia if you do a Google search for it. So if you you don't like reading, but you like researching, like you like to learn new things, I would use Wikipedia. So try to follow your interests. So that is the best way to do it. Bluebird says, how can I use the word crew instead of group or team? So crew is usually reserved for, at work. When I was a construction worker, I worked on a work crew. Okay, so crew is a little bit different than group or team. I think in rowing, your team is called a crew, rowing when you're in a boat. But I would look up crew and group and team because they all have slightly different meanings. Okay, I just think that would be a good idea. Let's see. Arseny says, hi, hey Bob, hello. Is the expression get out of the car polite? If not, what is a polite way to say that? If my kids are in the car and I'm like, okay, we're here, get out of the car. If I say it in a nice way like that, it is totally polite. I wouldn't often tell an adult to get out of the car, but generally when I'm talking to my kids, I'll say, okay, we're here, let's get out of the car, or get out of the car, we're going into the store. So it's not polite, but it's not impolite, it's direct. Okay, you're expressing your feelings directly. Wow, there are a lot of questions. I better go faster. I'll try not to speak too much faster, but let's see how many of these we can get answered. Harvey says, hello Bob from Germany. Hello, how are you, Harvey? I want to use the word vice versa in a conversation. So I corrected you there, in a conversation. How can I use it accurately? Okay, so I corrected you again there. How can I use it accurately? So vice versa is something we say when there's one way to look at something and then there's another way to look at it. So you would say vice versa. I would, if I were you, look up some example sentences. I'm going to look up one right now because I want to find a good one. I can't think of a good one off the top of my head. I can't find one here either. It's not a super common word, but it does mean, or vice versa. So if you were to say, it's nice to do a live lesson outside, because vice versa, no, I'm saying that badly. Let me find an example sentence with vice versa in it. So we find one that's not one that Bob the Canadian is making up. Let's see here. So you could say that, let me see. Oh, so the boys were bugging the girls and vice versa. So that means that the girls were bugging the boys as well. So I don't know if that's a great example, but there's an example for you. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Carl has the next question. Carl says, I can speak fluently. So I'm correcting you there, Carl. Note that. I can speak fluently, but my writing skill sucks. I'm sick of memorizing words, even though I can't. Let's see, I can't write without Google Translate. Do you have some opinions for me? I would say you need to write more and you need to have someone correct you. If you can find someone who you can write English letters to, who is willing to correct you and respond, that would be the best thing that you could do, because it sounds like you're making errors, but you're not sure how to fix those errors right away. So I know saying the best way to improve your writing is to do more writing isn't a great answer, but it is the best answer. Pete Aguilar says, hi Bob from Houston, Texas. Hi Pete. Is there any difference between US English and Canadian? Thank you for your videos. Well, you're welcome for the videos, and there are slight differences between American and Canadian English, but not a lot. I have a Canadian accent. The Canadian accent is it's a very neutral accent. Americans can understand me with no problems. In fact, just the other day, I was at a family party, and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and their kids are from the United States, and we can't tell that we have accents when we talk to each other. We can understand each other perfectly. I would say Canadian and American English, of all the Englishes in the world, are very, very close to each other. They sound very, very similar. Let's see here. I'm going to clean up my questions. Get Kostya says, Hi Bob, is there a word in the English language that means the same as very? When I want to say something like, it's a very big building, for example. Well, you can say it's a pretty big building. That's kind of a weird way, but you can say it's a pretty big building. That's one way to say it. You could just say it's a really big building. So you could say it's a really... I'm having trouble typing. Maybe my hands are cold. So there are a lot of ways to replace very. You could look up a lot of different ways to it. Let's see. Not sure about that question. I'm gonna skip this question because it's a bit strange. Here is a very straightforward question from Tiger. This will go fast. Tiger says, "How are you?" "I am fine." There's your answer. I am doing well, Tiger. Thank you for asking. Let's see here. Next question is from Iluanzani. Hi Bob, from Morocco. Sorry if I messed up your name. I like what you do. I learn English, and what is the best way to remember words? Thank you. So I always tell people, buy Post-it notes, you know, the little papers that you can stick on things. Write the English words on it and put it all over your house. So Margaret Nixon says, "Hi Bob, you don't see me." I do see you, Margaret, but I usually pay more attention to the questions coming in via the question form, and I don't always respond to people in chat. And Gabrielle Mouvrodis, I'm drinking tea with a little bit of honey in it. It's really good. It's very, very yummy. So I did just say hi to some people in the chat. It's not common for me to do that, but I do love to see people chatting in the chat in English. It's a great way to practice your English while you're listening to me. Before we go to the next question, though, don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. There's a red button down there. I think it's right here. There's a red button. You can click it, and then you can subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this lesson. Let's get to the next question. Next question is from Monica. Are there science books for beginners to read? I would recommend you find a science textbook from an English school for like grade 5 or 6. So if you are able to find a child's textbook for science, that's what I would look for. I would look for a kid's textbook. That would be very easy to read. Let's see. Next one is, hello Bob. This is from Anton. I'm glad to see you. Well, I'm glad to see you too. Is it a class with a teacher or maybe video lessons? What I do is simply video lessons, Anton. I think that's what you are asking about. I do a live lesson on Friday mornings. I do a live question and answer session on the weekends. That's what we are doing right now. And I do an actual video every Tuesday. So if you can find a class, that is always a good thing to do. Let's see. I'm going to skip this question because it's quite difficult to explain. It is a grammar question. Sorry, my nose is running a bit. It's not very nice of me to do that. Let's see here. Next question is from Peter. Hey Bob, great channel. Thank you, Peter. Can you say the pronunciation difference between woman and women? I usually find it quite challenging for me to say. Thanks in advance. So woman is the singular. There was a woman at the store. Or you could say there were a lot of women at the store. So that's plural. So singular, there was a woman, or there was a woman at the store. There were a lot of women at the store. So that is how I pronounce it as a Canadian speaker. I love pronunciation questions, by the way. They're my favorite because they are the easiest to explain. Stefan says, hi, Bob. What is the difference? Oh, this is pronunciation as well. Between live and leave, many thanks. So this is live. Right now we are doing a live lesson. Like I can see that Mohammed Mustafa said, how to remember vocabulary. So live, I'm doing this live, but eventually I have to leave. So later today I have to leave because I have to go do some Christmas shopping. Don't tell my kids that I still have to do some Christmas shopping. Let's see here. Ahmed, this is a sad thing, Ahmed. Hello, Bob the Canadian. Have you tried teaching your children French? I have not taught my kids a lot of French. They are not super interested in learning French, but maybe one of them will be. We will see in the future. Renata says, how cold is it over there, Bob? I think, actually, I can look that up right now really quickly. I think it's probably 5 degrees Celsius. But I'm clicking on my weather. It's 6 degrees Celsius right now. So 6 degrees Celsius, which for a Canadian, 6 degrees Celsius on December 22nd is a nice warm day. I really like it. Next question. I will give you Paul. Paul Zavnir says, what is the difference between the words despite and in spite of? So, I'm going to do a live stream despite the weather. I'm going to do a live stream in spite of the weather. So in those two sentences, they mean the same thing. So let's see. Jesus says, Teacher Bob, would you explain to me, I added the to in there, would you explain to me how to use rather? Well, I'd rather not. No, that's not true. I will explain how to use rather. So when we use rather in that situation, like yesterday, I got home really late and I said to Jen, I'd rather not do a live lesson tonight. So it means that you don't want to do something. You prefer to do something different. So that's what rather would mean. Let's see here. Daniel has the question. Hello, Bob. Do you believe it is possible for a non-native person to speak English as perfectly as a cultivated English-speaking one? Yes, but you'll always have a little bit of an accent, but I would not worry about having a bit of an accent. I really like people who have a little bit of an accent. You will be able to speak English perfectly someday if you work hard at it. Absolutely. Let's see here. Vinicius. Hi, Vinicius. Vinicius says, hi, Bob. How is it going? I've not been a loyal follower lately. Sorry, I have a kid, 7 years old, and I'd like to teach him computer language. What do you suggest? I always suggest that you teach PHP or Java. Those are recommendations. And Vinicius, don't worry that you haven't been a good follower lately. You have really been around a lot early on, and I really appreciate it. But I would teach him teach PHP or Java. JavaScript's really simple and straightforward. Let's see here. Let me clean up my questions a little bit. Madi says, what's the difference between dispose? Oh, so you're asking the difference between to dispose or get rid of. And those mean the same thing. So we dispose of our garbage. We get rid of our garbage, okay? When you get rid of something, it means that you dispose of it. They mean the same thing. Let's see here. Renata says, I gotta say, I missed your outdoor live streams. Hooray. Yeah, I think I'll do more of them if the weather stays nice. It's a little hard right now, Renata, because I have to sit kind of in a darker area. And my throat keeps getting a little bit dried out. I'll probably end this soon, I think, because I don't want to talk too much and get a sore throat. That wouldn't be good. Paul from Ukraine. Let's see here. Paul says, Hello, Teacher Bob. Could you tell me what does this exactly mean? To get someone excited about something, for example, about Christmas or Hanukkah. So sometimes we play a lot of Christmas music in our house to get our kids excited about Christmas. So maybe they're not super excited about Christmas. So we will do things to get them excited. If we have songs that we like to listen to, we will play them because we want to get our kids excited about music as well. Burglar Bird, it's an interesting name. Burglar Bird says, what does sibling mean? Well, you can say brother or sister, but when you talk about all of your brothers and sisters, you can say that they are your siblings. So I have 4 siblings. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. That's what sibling means. Now let's see here. This is a good question. Edward, Feliz Navidad. Is it a picture behind you? So I think he's laughing. No, this is not a picture. This is an actual tree. If you look behind me, there is my farm and my river. The river is a little bit frozen, but it's probably melting a little bit today. But no, it's not a picture behind me. I'll prove it to you. See, it's not a picture. You can see my winter boots that are keeping me warm, but no, it is definitely not a picture. It is my actual property. Let me find the next question. Let's see here. Let me paste that in. Samuel says, I can understand English. So I corrected that a little bit there. I can understand English, but I don't speak it with people. Help me. You just need to find people that you can speak English with. I know it can be hard. The best thing you can do is if you can at least find other English learners to speak English with. Even if you speak English badly, the more practice you can get, the better it will be for you, for sure. Danish from India, oh, let me click here, says, Happy Christmas and New Year, Bob, sir. Thank you very much, Danish. The same to you. Next question. This is a good question. This is an idiom here. Shala says, Hi, Bob. Could you tell me what does cover all the bases mean, or cover all your bases? Could you give me some examples? Thank a million. You look like an angel. Wait, it just scrolled away. You look like an angel for English learners. God bless you. So when you cover all your bases, so let's say I was buying a gift for someone and I wasn't sure if they were going to like the gift I bought. I could buy 3 gifts, and that way I'm covering all my bases. So let's say the person is Jen, and I know she likes chocolate, and I know she likes flowers, and I know she kind of likes jewelry. Instead of just buying her chocolate as a gift, I would buy all 3. That way I'm covering all my bases. That way she will at least like one of those 3 things. Excuse me. Oh, I'm supposed to cough in my elbow now. Did you know that? When you cough, you're supposed to cough there, and then you say, excuse me. And then you know what we say in English? We say bless you when people sneeze. And when people cough, oh, do we? No, sorry, I'm getting this mixed up. When people sneeze, we say Gesundheit, which is a German word, I think. When people cough, I don't think we say anything, actually. Maybe Todd will tell us in the chat what we say when people cough. Apparently, I'm having trouble thinking out here in the cold. Ying says, oh, one moment here, people. I'm clicking everything wrong. Here we go. Ying says, Hi, Bob. Thanks for answering my question earlier. No problem, Ying. If possible, could you do some vlogs on your channel? I really want to know what the life is like in your town. So my most popular videos, if you search my channel, are the ones where I teach English. Hi, Zhejian Song is here, who I haven't talked to for a while, and he is a very good friend of mine from China. So I just want to say hi. Hi now, how are you doing? Am I sick? No, I just talked way too much yesterday, and now my throat has a tickle in it, so it's not too bad. But hey, it is really good to see you, man. It was a lot of fun seeing you last summer. And I think my son still has some photos that we will send you on Facebook. Anyways, let me go back to the question. I was just really happy to see my friend there, so that was cool. My most popular videos that I do to teach people English are kind of like vlogs. So if you search Bob the Canadian Hotel, Bob the Canadian Forest, Bob the Canadian Park, Bob the Canadian a tour of my house, Bob the Canadian Hotel, did I say that one already? Bob the Canadian at a restaurant. Those are all videos where I go into the world and I make an English lesson. They are super popular. So if you search Bob the Canadian 4 restaurants, that video people love because I actually go into 4 different restaurants and order food. So it's a really fun thing to do. So I will do more videos like that. They just take more time to make. So let's see here. Maria has the next question. Going back to my throat having a tickle in it because I talk too much, I have to start talking less, I think. I think when I go to a Christmas party, I talk to too many people. Maria says, what's the difference between at school, in school, at the school, in the school? So let me read those again a little more slowly. What's the difference between at school, in school, at the school, in the school? So let me give you a few different example sentences. Let me see that. Let me do this differently. Where is your son? He is at school. So that means on that day, your son is not home, he is at school, okay? So it's specific to that actual time. If I say my son is in school, it means that he is the age that you would be to be in school. So it's the general, like the whole year. If I say at the school, it's simply a location. Like, oh, I left my book bag at the school. You could also say I left my book bag in the school. So there was 4 little descriptions for you. I hope that made some sense. Folks, I am looking here at a gigantic list of questions, and I actually am planning to wrap this up. I'm going to do a couple more questions, and then this will be the end of the live stream for today. I'm going to see if I can go another 15 minutes, but let's see how it goes with my voice. Let's see here. I have to clean up the questions here. I got a little bit too many questions. Maybe if I talk a little quieter, my voice will last longer. So the next question, this is something we say a lot. Oscar Rodriguez says, hi, good teacher. How are you? I'm fine. How are you? Can you explain to me all the uses of kinda or kind of? So I can kind of do that. When you say kinda or kind of, it means you can't do all of something, but you can do some of it. So I can kind of explain that. It means that I can't explain it completely, but I can give you some understanding of it. So kinda means I can explain that a little bit. I can kinda explain that. I can explain it a little bit. I can kinda see what you're talking about means I can understand a little bit of what you're talking about. So kind of is kind of, I just used it to describe it, is when you divide something and make it a little bit smaller. Hey folks, let me see here. I think the best thing to do right now is to say goodbye. I know that's not what you're expecting right now, but this was really, really fun. Usually I go for a full hour. It has been 45 minutes, but my throat's getting just a little bit sore. So I am sorry that I did not get to all your questions. Again, if you're new here, please click that red subscribe button down there. Thumbs up are very, very cool. Thank you for the over 500 people that have watched this live lesson. That is very, very cool of you. It was fun to just do a surprise lesson today. There will be a new video on Tuesday, so look for that. But as of right now, I think I'm going to just say bye. Please do remember that if you search for, and I'm going to put this in the chat, search YouTube for Bob the Canadian Hotel, and you will see a lesson. Let me just do this. If you search Bob the Canadian Park, if you are looking for more lessons where it's more like a vlog, if you search YouTube for Bob the Canadian Restaurant, those 3 videos I think you will really like. You can also search for Bob the Canadian gas station. That's a good one as well. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. It's a beautiful day. I have a lot of things to do later today, so I'm going to get going. Thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, all that good stuff. I hope you are having a great weekend, and I hope you have a phenomenal week ahead. We are going to be celebrating Christmas here in Canada on Wednesday. I'm not sure if you have holidays in your country, but I hope that you are having a nice time, and see you in the next video.